Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here with my amazing co-host, Jonathan, who I've missed for 2 weeks. How are you doing, Jonathan? And how are you
I'm
feeling about this episode?
I'm good. I'm good. I mean, every episode is a banger. I've loved every episode. I actually can't complain about any episodes. And what I've talked about in previous weeks is coming to fruition. The Anna Lee and the relationship with her father. It's like I was kind of waiting for it, and I kind of wanted to see that spice a little bit come out. So, yeah, I've been enjoying.
So
I've been
we
enjoying.
realize now the catalyst for their combative relationship, it comes out when self-drive has been introduced into the equation.
Well, self-drive for a few people, like, last week, it's like, "Oh, wow, I guess I didn't really realize that, it is such a big component of the race that can change everything up." And I kinda love how they introduced it, like, when they did, you know what I mean? So
It's
it
like
just
they got all
completely.
comfortable with like, oh, we're good at the
Yeah,
race, we're good, and now like, ah! Like, oh my
it just
gosh.
throws it all away and starts anew almost, and I'm like, it really revives it kinda midway through, so I loved it.
Well, speaking of like last week, did it drive you crazy when Lena and Morgan were fighting, but Lena didn't know her lefts from rights and then would get annoyed when her sister was annoyed by the fact that she turned in the wrong direction?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even understand. There's just some things in life, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying there's some things in life that are just so ingrained in
100%.
you from like such a small age that, and I know people struggle, and I know if especially if you're like dyslexic or have some sort of thing like that, but it's just I feel like her sister would know if she did, so she would have some patience for it, and she just was being maybe a little ridiculous and making mistakes and not wanting to own up to it. I don't know, but I was like, ugh.
I know. I mean, yeah, I said the same thing last week. I was like, I just know my lefts from rights so well that it's very surprising me for someone to learn that other people don't necessarily. Obviously, any learning disabilities or anything like that, like it's very possible. But I just like I can't fathom it because I just feel like it's something I needed to know for so long that it's just in my muscle memory. Especially from a
Yeah.
dance background, I just like I know which is clockwise, I know which way is to the right. Like it just like you just know.
Yeah. Well, even like months, like how many people out there, they'll be like, how many days is in September? And you're like 30. Or how
Yes.
many days are in April? And you're like 30. Like you just know, and other people have to do
Well,
and it's
I
just,
do
I
the
don't know.
30 days half September, April, June, and November just to double check.
Yeah, I just have it in here, but it's like other things I'm an idiot for. So it's so it's like, some things you have and some things you don't. And I guess some people just get confused with lefts and rights sometimes. And that's okay. But
It's okay, but not on the Amazing
not
Race when
not on the
you
not on the race.
it's just it's very I mean, I would be you wouldn't want to see me how mad I would be if like my sibling was like I'm saying turn right and you're turning left or vice versa and then taking us like off from the direction and the route that we're supposed to be going in. Like it's just like I would have a freak out moment. So I thought that
Yeah.
Morgan was more patient than I would have
I
been.
mean, if I went on with my Portuguese family, I would've been slapped up across the side of the head. So, like, it was they'd have to, like, tell us not to hit each other. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but they would, hit me, but yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't
No,
think that you'd make that mistake.
no, no, I'm good with that, so it was but I mean, it's, gosh, there's just been so much. So, last couple episodes too, it's just been so fun.
So Diva says hello, Chantal and
Oh,
Jonathan.
hi, Diva.
Sophie's here. Did you hear the next season of Amazing Race is coming in like a few months? Isn't it? I thought it was in March.
It's in it is in March. Yeah,
Yeah.
I read
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
normal, right?
Yeah, there's, like, what, 3 months in between or something?
Yeah, because like last year they both started at the same time as Survivor, and that was March 1st, I think Survivor started.
I think it was a
Yeah.
little pushed this time around because of the new programming that's coming in February, or otherwise it would have actually been earlier, but because of the strike and all that kind of stuff. So,
Now, do you so for this so the season that's going to be coming in March is going to be the season that was filmed before this season, but they just needed more time to edit, correct?
well, they needed so they the reason it's March and not February is because
No,
they're
I mean it's supposed to be airing before this season's airing. This season was recorded after.
Oh, I
Um,
see what you're saying. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
mhm. Because
Oh,
they got the news that it was going to be 90-minute episodes, so they wanted to film a season with
right.
that in mind, and then I think they wanted to go back and re-edit.
Which, like, never go back to 60 minutes. I need my 90.
I
That's like
need.
a
I mean,
standard.
I need my 90. It's just kind
I need
of.
my 90.
It just
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think that Amazing Race Canada is going to go to 90
I
minutes?
hope not.
Oh, brutal, 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 brutal.
Sorry. Sorry.
Well, let's start with this episode, then we'll continue hanging out with everybody here in the chat. So 10:14 a.m. John and Greg are going to be leaving. My brothers-in-law that I wish I had chosen as part of my team instead of the other brothers are going to be going to Slovenia. And there's going to be an Expedia adventure that they're going to be partaking in. Now that we know what the episode is the Expedia adventure the gliding?
I thought so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that is going to be departing at 4 p.m. And so they have to go to Teddy's travel agency to get on a flight to go to Slovenia, and they're going to be getting on the 4 p.m. flight. So they were smart, and they were like asking him, is there any other flights that get in earlier, which I think is great. I'm happy that they took advantage of being in the front of the pack and extended their lead even further.
Yeah. So I think some of the mistakes that they were making earlier on, they've really tightened up. And you know what I mean?
Well,
Little
because
questionable
most of the
moments to come,
mistakes
but
were like taxi drivers and like people navigating, and it
yeah.
seems like they immediately get directions and they get in their car and they follow these directions. Like they don't get lost and then ask for directions. You know what I mean? They just like
Yeah.
start off strong, I find.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before they just used to always get bad drivers or
Yeah.
go to the wrong locations.
And a little bit of like apprehension with certain like picking tasks and committing to it, like just internally a little bit. But which we still see a little bit of. But I just think overall they've really tightened it up. So and that's why they're doing well.
Hi, Luciana. Where is JoJo been? I know. Where is JoJo? Who knows? Who knows where JoJo is?
I haven't seen JoJo in years. It's like, where's Waldo? But let's make a book of it. Where's
Where's
JoJo?
JoJo? We should cover some. Maybe when Traders 2 comes out, the three of us can cover
Ooh,
it
it's
together.
gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll figure out some way to make it like we'll cover it in a different way where we're like playing a game at the same time or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll think of something fun. But JoJo is at home right now. But he's not. I don't think does he watch The Amazing Race US? Like I don't even know. Probably, but he's not necessarily up to date. He doesn't watch things right now.
JoJo's busy.
Busy. So leaving next is going to be at 10:23. We got Robin and Chelsea. They have to get on the 7:30 flight. Then Ashley and Todd, they have to get on the 7:30 flight, but they do know about the earlier flight. And so they have the intention of going to the airport to getting on standby here. Rob and Corey on the 7:30 flight. I think they also have the idea to go on standby. I'll find out later. I'm sure I made a note for it later. Steve and Anna Lee, they're leaving at 7:30 flight as well. Morgan and Lena also 7:30. Joel and Garrett also 7:30. And he's really happy. Like this team's really happy because they came in last place. And it's good news to them that for the most part, they're all going to be equalized. And, you know, they were in the bottom, but like now they're in the bottom amongst many. So that's great for them and your team. That should have been gone.
We don't want to talk about my teams.
I know.
Makes up. Listen.
You have them all. I don't have any.
You have one, and I have 5.
I do have one. I thought I was done. That's why I thought you were gonna gloat.
Oh no!
I thought I was done.
You listen. Your team could still win. So
my team could still win. They are getting a bit of a winner's edit, to be honest.
Yeah, like have like the are they not safe? Are they not safe? And then they run away with it, right? So never say never.
Never say never. So they're all driving to the Frankfurt airport. I wish that they showed how insane the Frankfurt airport is. I was just in there in the summer, and it is like an entire country. It is so big. It's like like there's like 100 terminals, maybe not 100, but like 20 different terminals, and like terminal A, and everywhere it gives you signs on the wall being like how long it will take you to get from here to over here. And so it'll be like, okay, it'll take 45 minutes to get to this side of the airport walking. And so everybody's just like running super speed, like trying to get to their gate in time, and like getting in elevators and going to the fourth floor and then running across and getting on a tram. Like it's actually nuts at that airport. And
Why
everybody's
wouldn't they
speaking
show
different
that?
languages. Pardon?
Why wouldn't they show that?
I don't know. It's the
I think
biggest
we need
airport I've ever been in.
2-hour episodes. We need 2-hour episodes.
I mean, I feel like maybe because they knew exactly where they're going. Like the
Yeah.
reason why I could see a lot of like people running is because I was going from France and then transferring to another terminal because I wasn't going to be staying within Europe. And so because I was going international, I had to like
Yeah.
go through custom, like I had to do all these things, right?
Yeah.
So I got to see a lot more of the airport than if I was just transferring, going from a European country to another European country. But like it's the biggest airport I've ever been to, and it was chaos.
Yeah.
Like organized chaos. The board was like triple the size of any wall I've ever seen. Like just like, where's my flight? Okay, there's like 30 pages for Toronto. Like I'm exaggerating, but like, you know.
Well, I mean, I feel like their edit is, because there's just so much going on, their edit is really just like if it applies, like if someone tripped up in the airport or something, they would have shown us that. But like maybe like a little establishing shot or a little voiceover saying how wild it is and how large it is would have been nice.
Ooh, okay. Luciana here is saying that she also has difficulty with right and left. But when I'm driving, I ask people to say here for right and there for left. I don't know why, but it helps. You know, that makes totally sense. For like, I think that here makes a sense. Make a right here and turn left over there. Yeah, I mean, I would probably just say that using right and left, and so maybe that's what you subconsciously learned as your right and left. Interesting.
It's the driving situation on Amazing Race is funny because you have the cameraman in the passenger side. You know what I mean? So the person's like forced to stay in the back who's navigating, and you can't. I mean, we've all been backseat drivers. I mean, like you can't really necessarily see everything, and it's, you know, and you just sit there and frustrated, and like Steve with Annalie, he needs his glasses on, and so it's just like, it's just so funny, the dynamic of having someone sit in the back and trying to navigate for other people. But if they were in the passenger seat, they could be like, you know, here and here. But I think it just adds to it. So
well, yes, of course it does. Like, because it's an awkward configuration, and like, and also like just having a camera watch you like be annoyed with your sister, like close up on you, just being like, Lena.
yeah.
Hilarious. All right, so Ashley wants to catch the brothers because the brothers have been ahead for first few rounds now, and she really just wants her and Todd to start moving forward. So her and Todd, as well as Rob and Corey, do actually get on the standby flight. So they only had those 4 seats left, and they were able to get on. So those are going to be the 3 teams with Greg and John that's going to be going on the 4 p.m. flight.
I was so happy. I was so happy. I was like, oh, are they going to pull ahead? Like, oh, okay.
Because you love Rob and Corey, or Ashley and Todd. Are you like now a big Ashley Todd fan?
I mean, Ashley and Todd I've always enjoyed, and I told you, I feel like she's gonna be a lot nicer than I initially thought she could be a villain, but I was like, I think they're gonna be a lot nicer than we think they are, and they have. But Rob and Corey is my number one.
She's kind of shitty to her sometimes.
What?
He's kind of shitty to her sometimes.
Oh, I mean, listen, they've said they have all their like counseling they've been through, and you can definitely see all of that, but I like that they own it and they try to be as nice as possible, it seems like. But yeah, Rob and Corey are my team though. So my number one. So whatever they're doing, I'm like edge of my seat. I want them to do well. You know, I was sweating it out. We'll get to it later on in this episode for a bit of it. Yeah.
So these top 3 teams are deciding that they want to do these 3 connections to try to be 8 hours ahead of the other teams. So, I mean, yes, in theory, this is good, but in travel, connections is what screws you. And so I thought it was too risky of a move for them to be taking all these different trains where they have to connect and anything can happen along the way. And if you miss a train, it's chances are it's not going to be 5 minutes for the next one. It's going to be like an hour or maybe
Yeah.
even the only time during the day. And so I thought it was a great idea, but with having one only having like a 5 minute connection, I was like, mm-mm.
Here's the thing. I also feel like the producers work very hard to make sure that someone cannot gain that, or a group of people cannot gain that big of an advantage, time wise. It's just, because earlier seasons, like some of the earliest seasons, we had that. And I feel like they really try to tighten it up. I mean, obviously there's equalizers and whatnot, but I didn't think it was going to be successful. I thought it was definitely like you know, a dream, but I was hoping for it. I was like, "Oh my god, yes."
So before they even continue to complete this journey and then learn that they missed the final train, I think it was, they do decide to go back. So they were playing train roulette and they lost. So they're going to go back and basically be equalized with the earlier team. Now, is it because like that was the only train that was leaving to go to Slovenia directly? Was the one that they're all getting on? Or was there an earlier one, but they were trying to be greedy and get like the 8 hour advantage?
Yeah, I thought it was my understanding was like it was either they can go for this, and if it doesn't work, they could just turn around as long as they didn't go too far into it because they don't want to risk missing the first one. But yeah, I don't think they
So they
were.
just go one train.
Yeah, I think so.
Direct. So both groups are on this train and they are going to be they're going to Vienna and then to Salzburg, and they take the something train to Slovenia, whatever. So they're all on the same thing. They're doing this all together. They get a route info and they have to go to Congress Square. This is obviously after they do their train ride, and they have to get a car and they're going to, I don't know how to pronounce this. I didn't write it phonetically. Was it Lesha?
Oh, guess as good as mine.
Lesha something. Airfield. Lesha
Sure.
something airfield. Something like that. They're going to an airfield. I think this is where what they say, the Expedia adventure is going to be, I believe. Annalie is driving and there's Siva's and her are fighting already. I'm like, guys, like you had 12 hours probably to like simmer down. Why are you fighting already?
Yeah. Here's my question with them though. So it's come up a few times that he can't see well. And then like he sits in the back, all that kind of stuff. I know we're not there yet, but like he's the one to like look in the binoculars and like I'm just wondering like when they're driving and like because he's driven as well. It's just why didn't he bring glasses, or B, are they selecting him for the spotting thing,
Mm,
challenges? I'm just like, because it's been a few things I've noticed, and I'm like, and it's not that he's faltered at them. I'm just saying he's talked about not being able to see certain things. So I'm like, that's playing with fire, I think.
I agree. I don't understand why. Maybe sometimes he does put in contacts
Well,
and
maybe.
sometimes he doesn't. I know that there's been some teams that they have to take out their contacts to do like any water challenges or whatnot, or put them in. I don't know. Maybe the contacts ripped and they don't bring extras. Like I have no idea, but it doesn't make sense to me either that they would have the person that is hard of seeing doing the seeing tasks.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I was just like, that's a choice, but anyway.
So Joel and Garrett are at the clue box first, and it is a roadblock. Who wants a bird's eye view? I guess this would be me, huh?
Yeah. I'm terrified of heights. So yeah, I mean, it's no, it would be you. I was gonna be like, well, no. I'd be like, please do it.
So Luciana here is saying that she thinks that they're keeping Annalie for more physical tasks. That could make
Yeah,
sense too. Like, yeah.
true.
Thomas says, I hope the Amazing Grace goes to a lot more new and never before visited countries. I think they will. Because I feel like Slovenia, this is the first time I believe that they're visiting Slovenia. And I think it's a success so far. It's really pretty.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to make sure that, there's certain laws in certain countries for things and it's safe and all that stuff. So, but there's a lot of countries out there. So,
Mary thinks that Steve was good this leg, and Annalie was melting. I guess meltdown. Steve did a good job this leg.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, he has to handle his daughter. Like,
yeah.
it's a great
But
job.
you know what? I am glad that he, like, in the car. I remember, I don't know when this was, but he was like speaking up and he was like telling her. I'm like, finally, like,
Yeah,
yes, she's being a brat in my
absolutely.
opinion.
Of course. Yes. So they're going to be looking out, like they're going up in like a glider, and they're going to be looking for four numbers on like I think it was on a lake, and it is the year that Slovenia got its independence. I didn't know that it was so soon.
Yeah. But also, I like how the editing for this task, they really tricked you because they'd be up there, be like, I mean, one team faltered, but like they were like, I'm seeing like a 31, no,
Seven.
like a 7, and you're like, oh gosh. And then a couple teams get there and they have the right 1991, right? So yeah, it was a little tricky, a little tricky.
So the people doing this tap seem to be Garrett, Rob, Ashley. Well, Ashley has to do it because Todd is too big. So height and weight was not suitable for this particular task. And then John and Lena. I wish that Ashley was scared. It's always nice when like the person that's scared
Forced to
has
do
is
it.
forced
Yeah.
to do the task. So it's a beautiful view, and we can see the numbers 1199. And that's what Garrett thinks is the answer because he thinks that Slovenia must be old. And so he guesses 1199 and is incorrect.
Yeah, like here's the thing though. Like would you have guessed that long ago, or would you have tried like a 1919? You know what I mean? If you thought it was
I would
old.
have probably gone 1919
Yeah, me
before I
too.
went 1199.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because most countries have been within the last 150 years, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
was like 11. I'm like definitely wrong, but I was just like, there's other options you could do.
yeah, like considering it's a smaller country, it was probably with another country. I just feel like it would have been soon, right? Not soon, but like not like 800 years,
Yeah,
900 years ago.
exactly.
That's yeah, way too many. So if you get it wrong though, you're gonna have to go up again. I was like, man, like I would not have risked having to go up again with that guess,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, sit there and think about it for a hot second. If you have to go to the back of the line, almost everyone's there.
I
It's
would
like you
just
need
be like,
to. I would just hold up the line for 5 minutes and be like, "Wait a minute, let me get my wits about me."
yeah, Thomas says I think my first guess would have been 1991 or 1919. Yeah, like
Yeah,
1919 it seems more likely because like a lot of countries gained independence as like 1945 and 19, you know what I mean? Like in the 1900s. 91 just seems so soon, so I don't know if I'd immediately think it would be that soon. Like,
yeah. I feel like that's what they probably
yes.
thought people might trip up on. Like they would probably put 1919.
Rob guesses correctly though with 1991. So your guide, Rob, he was able to go up there, see it correctly, and first guess gets it right.
I love Robin Corey so much.
So Ashley goes and guesses correctly as well. Um, and I guess John also guessed correctly. And then Robin, okay, Robin's there, and she thinks it's a 6, not a 9, and I'm like, you can see the line underneath. So this is one of the times where I thought that like she's gonna trip
Yeah,
up, thinking that it was like 16, 16.
yeah. And I'm
But
constantly worried about Robin and Chelsea. Like I'm like,
there's
how are you still in there? You're my again on my draft team, so I'm good. But it's like they stress me out just because I feel like they're not doing well. And then, but they pull it out. So,
I guess like I don't particularly enjoy their racing style because it seems like Chelsea doesn't want to be there a lot of the time, and
yeah,
like it's just kind of like, oh god, okay, I don't want to do this, but like
yes,
let's do it.
yes,
And so that's not necessarily fun for me to watch. And then they don't really have a seemingly good relationship with the other teams, so it's like they're just kind of out on their own, and they're not good. So I'm just like, I don't know. They just don't right for me right now have any real
yeah.
redeeming qualities for me to root for them.
It
And
definitely
they're
feels
not on
like
my draft.
It definitely feels like Robin dragged Chelsea is what it feels like. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's yeah, I agree with you. That's probably what it is like it just feels like half the team doesn't want to be there. They're not really super entertaining and there's no like There's nothing being like, I want to root for you other than they're on my draft team. But it's, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I think I would have guessed that they would have been like third out, maybe.
I
So,
know, and I guess like also the fact that like they're staying in, and then some of the teams that I like a lot better are leaving. I'm just like, "Hmm, like, are they gonna win? No, right? It's not
no,
possible.
I don't think it's possible either.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's possible. But like, is it? They keep on squeaking by, and I'm like sometimes getting in good positions. I'm like,
I don't
like, it's
I don't
scary.
think it's possible. I don't think it's possible.
But they do end up guessing 1991. And then you hear, I think it was Robin seeing the boys leaving, like, where are the boys? Let's follow them. I'm like, I get it. Like, follow the people that are good at directions.
Yeah.
But like, it's also just annoying because I don't care for them.
Oh, and I kind of like it. I was like, you be sneaky. I'm like, I like sneaky. Like, don't waste time finding the directions yourself. You know that they got it together. Like,
Mm-hmm. I guess it's just because they're annoying to me. So Steve and Anna Lee, they stop for directions twice. They just cannot seem to find this airspace. They can see the planes overhead, and she's commenting on like, "Oh well, there they are, right there, like above us."
yeah,
Like,
I'd be like, Annalie, is this helping us in this moment? I don't think it is. You saying, I mean, here's the thing. They said for the first 3 quarters of the race, we're done. That's it. We know it's over. So I kind of knew it wasn't.
yeah.
But I was just like, clearly they were saying that within the episode, not just in like the cutaway interviews. And I'm like, oh, I could not race with someone like that.
No, no, I like solution oriented. I don't like people just like super negative all the time.
I'd be like, excuse me, can I do this race by myself from now on?
Yeah, can I like not have a partner? I'll do both sides of like
Yeah.
all roadblocks. Luciana here says that Robbie and Chelsea are fun for her because they're so dry. They're not my favorite team, but not my least favorite. Who do you like least or less?
Who was my least favorite team? Oh, I think we know. I think we know.
Robin Chelsea willing equals karma doesn't exist. Yeah.
I think my least favorite team is Steve and Anna Lee, but then second to that, just because there was no zest to them, was Alexandra and Sheridan.
Oh, if we're talking the beginning, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I'm so sad that I drafted them on my team. I'm sorry, two were probably lovely human beings, but I'm sad that I wasted a draft spot.
Yeah.
Because I would have picked that. Hold on. Oh, I don't know if I have that book with me. Because I think I would have picked the brothers if I hadn't picked them.
Because they were your third, and then yeah, and Greg and John were my third, and you had said that you were going to pick the brothers next. So yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
and I would have way rather have the brothers, obviously. Who did you have? Did you have them next? Who was next for you then?
I mean, I just wrote down what I got, but I picked after Greg and John, I picked Rob and Corey. But I think I was going to pick Alexandra and Sheridan. I think we were like gonna pick them around the same time because they just look like smart and
good.
Like, fit and like, yeah, I was like, oh, they're gonna be solve
like
stuff.
Game bot, like they looked, relatively athletic.
Yeah.
We were wrong. They had no hustle, which is like my biggest pet peeve. I love a sense of urgency. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like getting stuck behind people that are walking slowly on the sidewalk. Like that sucks. Like that's really annoying.
Not me being the slow person on the sidewalk.
You're not. I thought you said that you're zippy.
No, I'm a slow walker. It drives everyone crazy. I just can't. I don't know why. It's not like I'm looking around. My body just doesn't go that fast. I don't know.
Okay. Do you stand on the escalator?
No. Stand to the side. Stand to the side.
Stand to the right side. Walk the left on the escalator, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be in people's way.
Well, that's the thing is like the people that are usually slow walkers, like I'm trying to get around them, and like they're just like taking up the middle of the sideway.
The two people that walk together and they're like, just walking like this. I'm like, why?
Trying to get around them.
Yeah. I'm like, you're walking in the dead center. You're holding hands like, like your arms are outstretched. Move.
Luciana says, true, if we were counting every team Alexander shared who were not it. Yeah. Very true. I'm sorry, though. They seem sweet. Um, so
I think they all stalls.
the next part of this is climb to the top. So they are going to be able to potentially get an express pass. So Ashley and Todd get there first, and there's 1,100 steps to the second highest ski jump, and I think it was in the world. And so they're going to have to climb these stairs to get the express pass first,
Yeah.
and then after they're going to zip line down the steepest zip line. Would we be going
I
for this express pass?
Oh, depending on how we arrived, but yeah. And I mean, I know that they did not expect it to be as funny as it was because like the amount of teams who were attempting and every team could have passed Robin Corey and I'm pulling my hair being like turn around, don't give it, let Robin Corey take it. But like Rob said, or
If
sorry,
they saw that there was
Corey said
more.
if
Mhm.
yeah, if you couldn't see from the base, Corey was saying, so like any of them could have beaten them. It was so good. It was just like everyone like gung ho like to like attempt it. They're like, yes, let's go. And then they're like, oh no, wait, let's just turn around. They got too worried. And here's the thing: it's committing to things pays off, right? And so I kind of love that for them. Rob and Corey went for it. They committed. The other teams faltered, and that's what happens on the race. So
Well, also what happens is like wrong and strong happens with Todd and Ashley, who like they just run right by the entrance of the express pass to
that
start going up the
too.
stairs. And she's like, "Are you sure we don't want to look around?" He's like, "No." Like he completely shut down her wanting to be more thorough, and they're running around and not seeing where they needed to be. And then they
Mm,
finally ask someone, and they're like, "Oh, it's all the way over there." And that's when they see Robin Corey, who did spot them running and not finding the entrance. And they're
yeah,
like, "Okay, we gotta go. We gotta keep going." And so they really easily could have gotten this express pass, but Todd's ego, I guess,
yeah, like
to
yeah.
not
And
let.
and 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 Todd, you're tall. You can see things from up there. Like I'm only 5'9", so but I mean, and that again is a credit to Rob and Corey as well. Is they saw an athletic team and said, "We're still good. We can beat them. Like we have a little bit of a lead, and let's just go for it and let's do it." And so, I love that about Rob and Corey. And I mean, listen, I like Ashley and Todd as well, but yeah, no, they got what they deserved because they
Yeah.
made that mistake, so,
And then they
yeah.
went to try to catch them, and then they're like, "You know what? I don't think we can overtake them." They turned around. Um, and then so we go back to the other task, and Lena guesses 1976.
Yeah.
Lena,
Lena,
like was the weak link on this team,
yeah.
I have to say, because I don't think we saw Morgan have any trouble with any tasks.
I don't think so either, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is where it did come to fruition, those, like, "Oh, am I seeing a 6? Am I seeing a, 9?" Or, like, all that stuff, yeah, and not realizing the arrows pointing to where you should be starting,
And
yeah.
so she has to go up again. Then Garrett finally gets 1991, and Lena gets 1991 second time around. So Steve is going to be doing the roadblock. And so Steve is there, or Annalie is there, and she's kind of upset. And Morgan is encouraging Annalie, and I'm like, at this point, like Annalie is caught up for the most part. Like, why would she still be so upset? Like, you're at least with another team is there. You can see these people. Like,
Yeah, she was so miserable for most of it when and most, challenges she was with they were with another team. So, like, I'm like, "What is your problem?" You know?
so Thomas says, I don't blame any of the teens for opting not to race up like against Rob and Corey. They looked really close to the top, right? And that's what Corey was saying, is that like if they had continued and saw that there was another bunch of stairs, they would have been able to beat them. And so the fact that from their vantage point they couldn't see it was Rob and Corey's benefit. So definitely was meant to be for them to get that express pass. So Ashley and Todd, yeah, they see Rob and Corey, they're chasing them, then they turn back. Steve, on his roadblock, he does get it on his first try, so good for Steve.
Mhm.
Greg and John get to the express pass, and they try to also pass Rob and Corey, and then they also turn around thinking that they don't think they can't overtake them by the time they get to the top. So it's showtime, and they're going to be going cross country skiing to the top. Have you cross country skied before?
You know what? I never have. So in school here, I don't know about for you, but we always had the option, like the
The grade
big
8 trip?
school grade 7 and 8, yeah, they had skiing trip, and I had zero point zero interest in being outside in the cold. I've been delicate ever since I was a young child, and so I opted to, like, not go. I'm like, "Pff, I can stay home and watch The Price is Right. Are you kidding me? Perfect Strangers, I Love Lucy." I'm doing that. I'm doing that.
I definitely did the grade 8 trip. I can't remember where we went. Dorset, maybe? And it was super fun. And I remember we did go cross country skiing, and we did it like across like this lake, and it was like had like a whole like a light trail. So it's just all these candles for the trail that we're on. And so we went cross country skiing. We also went snowshoeing.
Mm.
I don't know, it was all really fun. We tobogganing, hot cocoa. I was with all like my best friends. Like, yeah, I don't know,
Have
it
you
was
gone
great.
to Blue Mountain as an adult?
I have. I actually Blue Mountain was where I was the weekend before the world locked down in 2020.
Oh,
My
okay,
friend had her birthday party at Blue Mountain. And so we went skiing, and I snowboarded for the first time. I
nice.
took
I
some
mean,
took some
yeah,
lessons.
all my friends do, and some of my family as well, and I just
Don't like
continue
the
to
cold.
refuse to go. Like, no.
Luciana says Todd and Ashley were terrible this leg, but he was great telling Greg and John to go for the express pass just to buy some time. Yeah, I mean,
Todd.
I really thought that they were going to continue going and just overtake them. Like I didn't think that they were going to stop and then start and then stop.
Yeah,
So
well, my heart was breaking every time, and I was so glad when everyone turned around, so
totally thought he was good. They're going to do it,
and
but
then I'm like and then when they got up there, I'm like, "Oh, they get to zip line down. Okay, alright." I'm like, "Good."
he's going to be sore tomorrow though.
Yeah.
Stairs like hurt the body.
That's true. They don't ever really talk about that. Like the physical like I will, do a 15-20 minute class and I'm like, I can't move the next day. And these people are all day long and they must be really sore and really feeling it.
Probably. Yeah, like
Yeah.
ice packs, ice baths, probably taken to Advil or Tylenol. So the detour is Greg and John gets there first, and they have to choose between field work and housework. So with field work, they have to kind of take the hay and kind of pack it into, I don't know, a hay shelf.
Hmm.
And then in housework, they have to build a house, and then they have to paint like paintings and put little pictures on it.
It's
The
just really
birdhouse,
it's just really painting the colors of the boxes and then placing the paintings on there. So they both interestingly enough seem like,
basic.
they're like they're basic, but they're both like, you have to build a house and you have to like like they're both like for more of an athletic thing, not like an attention to detail. Cause I mean, the colors are right in front of you. It's didn't have to memorize them or anything. So, having said that, I don't know how I would do with hay and all that stuff
I
and
feel like I'd be sneezing.
priming. Yeah. So I would have probably opted to paint the crap out of the stuff. Yeah.
I believe I didn't finish my sentence, so I believe I was saying that Ashley and Todd get there next, or maybe that they're arguing about skiing. Like I don't know. I just put Ashley and Todd are, and then I didn't finish this sentence. Greg and John decide to switch to fieldwork. Oh, I didn't really talk about like the crunch country skiing though. So they're all kind of skiing and like not very good at skiing. It's pretty easy what they have to do. It's not that steep of a hill, and cross country skiing is usually pretty flat, long distance. But yeah, was there anything to mention about the skiing portion?
For all the I mean, just when Morgan and Lena were there came one of my, like, favorite moments of the episode as well. When when who was it, Lena, I guess, falling on the ice, and Morgan was like, "You've been skiing all your life." Oh,
I
and
mean,
she's just, like, laughing.
she's like, well, not the last like 15 years. I feel like I would still have it in my body if I skied for 15 years of my life or so,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
like
didn't.
riding a bike, right? It's same
Yeah,
kind of thing, I would think, but, I don't do it, so what do I know? But, yeah, it's just
you
that
know how to
I
ride a
will.
bike though, I'm
No,
sure.
I don't know how to necessarily ski, but I'm saying, yeah, it's, if I was on a bike tomorrow, I mean, I think it had been I rode in Montreal a few years ago, but I think it had been, like, 15 years since I was on a bike, and it's like, You just know how to do it. So, but yeah, it was a fun little extra little thing. So I enjoyed watching them do
Yeah,
that.
it was very funny, just like seeing everybody fall and like trying to get the hang of it and like not
Yes.
looking cool, you know?
Steve had a hard fall. I was like, ooh,
Uh-oh.
ooh.
Like, be careful.
Yeah,
Careful, Steve.
yeah.
So Greg and John get to the detour, and they were going to do housework originally, but then they end up getting to field work. How did that happen? Because they were they following somebody?
Greg and John, no, Robin and Chelsea were following them, and they were complaining about it. And I didn't really fully understand. I thought they were going to like go
Oh,
the
I
wrong
think it's
way for a
because
second or
Ashley and
something.
Todd were probably going to do field work, and they wanted to keep them in their sights.
Something like that. I don't
I
know.
think
Something
so.
happened, and then because then they owned up to it afterwards, and they were like, "Well, Robin and Chelsea, I guess, did make the decision to go there before they left." But then I'm like, "But they also did just follow you, not knowing
They
that you were going to the
totally
right
follow you.
place." So I'm like, "What happened there? I don't know."
So Rob and Corey do get the express pass, and they zip line down. I wish I could tell what the proximity where all these tasks were, because like it seemed like there was no like where they were doing the flying seemed to be pretty close to where they're doing the stairs and the zip line, which seemed to be close to where they're doing the skiing, and then they seem to have to move to go and do field work or housework.
It did seem like that because I was really concerned with them going for the express pass that they were going to really put themselves behind, because it was something that was taking, I feel like, substantially longer than like, I think they would have killed a plate of bugs and stuff. You know what I mean? That was slightly off to the side, where this one was quite the extensive task in such a tight kind of race.
How long do you think it took to do the stairs?
1,000.
1100, yeah.
1,100? Gosh, how many stairs is the CN Tower? Do you know? Because I've done that,
Ooh. Oh.
and that took me 45 minutes.
Oh. How many stairs in CN
And I was in
Tower?
my 20s at the time. Um,
Okay, there's more. There's 1776. Okay,
okay.
so it's like almost half that, or a little less, a little more than half. So
I mean, I feel like it would have taken me 20 some odd minutes to have
yeah,
done that.
20 to 30 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I'd be running up there for 20 to 30 minutes to get an express pass for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So Robin and Chelsea following the brothers, even though they don't like I think they wanted to do housework, and that's what they thought that the brothers were going to do. The brothers switched to field work because they want to be competitive with Ashley and Todd, and so now the girls are doing, or the Robin and Chelsea are doing field work. So then the second blunder with the express pass happens, and this time Steve and Annalie
Loved it.
run past the taken
Loved
sign.
every moment of this.
Why would she think that it was still available?
Like, I have questions about so many decisions they've made, but it's like I mean, to me, it's someone was talking about karma earlier, and I'm like, absolutely. Like, this was your not being nice. You're kind of being horrible, and this is what you get. You are too busy talking about how you're dead last, and it's this, that, and the other thing. And the interesting part, though, is in making this mistake. By the time that they got up there, they said, "You know what? We're going home. Like,
Let's
definitively,
enjoy
let's
ourselves.
just enjoy it." And I was like, maybe this is a turning point, and maybe you needed actually to miss that, that taken already sign, because I feel like there was a little bit of a shift at that point, and she was just like too
Resigned to now just like
just
enjoying
losing.
yourself in the race.
Now she is, yeah, and I think she was just too narrow focused, kind
Oh,
of going up there and just not thinking anything, just like really in her head, being miserable. So yeah, it turned around up there. So there you
well,
go.
and when you're like all in the down, like the just down about everything and like upset and like we're last, we're going home. This is our last. We're doing so badly. If you start focusing on that, it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so that nearly was a self-fulfilling prophecy, that like not seeing that sign because she was in her head about like not doing well and being bad at the race and
Yeah.
going home,
Yeah.
that she nearly made that become a
Exactly.
prophecy.
And
like, come
we
true.
know Steve isn't seeing anything. So like,
He's just listening to her. Oh boy. So it was taken. She didn't see it. And they do just still get to go down. At least they get to go down on the zip line still, right?
yes,
Faster.
yes, yeah.
A lot
Thank God.
faster. I would imagine they're just like, yeah, it was only reserved for the people that got the express pass.
Okay, but the guy, when they got there, was kind of like, "It's gone, idiot." Like, he didn't say that, but like the look and like how he said it was like,
Because it's probably gone like 2 hours ago.
like we put the sign at the bottom, like it's not here. I was like, "Oh, okay, I see that little bit of shade there."
Like, So only Garrett and Joel and Steve and Annalie are going to be doing sorry, it's a bee house. I said a birdhouse, but it's a bee house.
It's bees, yeah.
We do learn a little bit of like the history of like there's a lot of bee farmers in this area, which I was like, oh wow. And so they make a lot of honey over there, which is kind of
Yeah,
fun.
my brother-in-law's family makes all their own honey and has their own bee farm, so in the Niagara region, yeah.
Jonathan, who knew? I want to go to a bee farm, get
Yeah,
some different honeys.
it's, I can't eat honey, but but I've had some of it and it's great, and, it's, for their wedding my sister got married a few years ago, 8 years ago, but for their wedding, they gave out little jars of honey and whatnot. Yeah.
Um, we have talked about this, Taj. But Taj says, did we mention how Annalie wasn't a fan of the show? It's that true.
Yeah.
It's showing. Yeah, it's definitely true. Like, because if she
The
had known the
rickshaws.
show a little bit better, she would know that there would have been a sign to say taken with the express pass, right?
It's come up, like, she didn't know what a rickshaw was, and I was questioning it several episodes ago. I was like, "How do you not know when you've clearly not watched The Amazing Race?" So, yeah, it's very evident, I think.
Yeah, it's getting more evident as we're getting along, going through the race. For sure. So Robin, I didn't understand this shade, but I think it was Robin that said it. Like, oh, I don't think that Ashley is going to have it in her to complete this detour field work. And I was like, do you know that she's been doing all the physical tasks this season?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, for them to be calling her out to be like, she's not going to be the one that's doing it.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I was like, "Where's that coming from?" Yeah.
like as much as she comes across as like a girly girl or whatever, but like she did the mattresses. I would not be doing the mattresses. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I might do field work, but I would not be doing the mattresses at all.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering where that shade came from. Hopefully someone asks them about that if they ever have an exit interview. Greg and John, they do get their first check for their field work, but the hay wasn't good. They didn't sweep up all the hay that was in front of their stand, but Ashley and Todd did. They get a check.
Yeah.
They came there third, and they left before you and Robin, or Robin and Chelsea.
And I know I know he mentioned it, like, that he's like, "Oh, he saw, then saw," like, you turn and it's like they're nicely, like, green grass, almost like, because it was all swept up nicely, but it's like, so I think they just called to check without even taking a second to look at their, like, but whatever, they can just do it again, right? So
Yeah, they took kind of a long time to get her second check, though, it seemed. So Ashley and Todd are going to be picking up their clue at a skyscraper, and they're going to climb another 230 steps to the top. Like, they're just making them work out this episode. And I can't say the name of that city. Nibotichnik? I don't know. Nibotechnik?
no idea.
Something
I
like that.
just sit there and I watch them try to pronounce it and notice all the different pronunciations of them and enjoy it. I enjoy watching that.
Rob and Corey are at the hay as well, and they actually are able to finish second. So they got the express pass, came down, did the skiing, get to the hay bales, and are still able to leave in second place.
I think that's
pretty
Corey's youth right there in
Mm.
athleticism. That was like, he was, and Rob keeping up, it's great.
Craig and John end up leaving third. So yes, when Annalise realized that the thing had been taken, they zipline down. Morgan and Lena get to the hay in fourth place, and I was listening to them on an exit interview, and they said that they didn't want to do what would seem to be an attention to detail task because they tripped up so much a couple episodes ago. That's why they didn't do the B. But like, I don't know if it was like that much of attention to detail. Like, they're just not that
It wasn't,
fast at
though.
stuff.
Yeah, and you just need to like play to your strengths anyway. Even if you faltered in one before, if your strength is not the physical task, then still do the other task because it's not the same
Just
one.
get better at it.
Yeah.
Like, notice what you didn't catch and like don't let that happen again, you know?
Yeah.
Fifth place. Wait, Robin and Chelsea get hay. Oh, sorry, they leave. Okay, sorry. Morgan and Lena left the hay in fourth place, and then Robin and Chelsea leave the hay in fifth place. So they're calling shade on the people that leave in first place, and they left in fifth. So I said, oh my God, Joel and Garrett get the Bs, but then they leave their notebook. And so at this point,
again,
and Anna Lee were at the Bs with them at this point. They're still kind of like sulky and like feeling that they're in last place. And so Joel and Garrett were actually also giving them some encouragement, like, don't give up, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. They leave, and then they realize they don't have their book that probably has all their notes for every single leg that you absolutely would need to win the race.
Yeah. And one of them, I don't know the difference between them, but one of them was like, do we need it? Should we go back? And it didn't seem like it was that much of a, like maybe 20 minutes, who knows? But I was just like, get it together, guys. You get really excited about completing something. And I mean, I don't know if I was here for when we talked about when the mustard task, when they thought that they were out and they were just sitting there eating it. You know what I mean? Like in the previous, like, I'm just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you're not out until you're out. Like, have
absolutely
that muscle,
still try to get to the end with like vigor and gusto, because like sometimes it's just like a second and like you really could be in it or out.
Yeah.
But like if you just had a little bit more of attention to detail and urgency and
these mistakes, I'm like, and because I don't think it was that much of a turnaround, I'm like, I think they included it because this might, that's it. Yeah, they do something a third time and it gets them. I feel it. I feel or they just don't get the win at the end because they've overlooked something, if they're in the final three or whatever. So yeah.
I mean, or they win the game and the fact that they had their notebook was
the pivotal. Yeah. I just think it's because it's happened a few times now. I'm just like, ooh, I feel like they don't. And I do think that, having that lack of awareness to have something like that multiple times, make the same mistake multiple times is an indicator that they're just not having what it takes to beat some of the other teams who are always seeming to be on top of it.
Yeah, I think they were going to make another mistake. Like I was saying that, like, yeah, potentially maybe it's just going to be like, they're showing this as part of like their winning game, like be like they nearly lost because of this. But realistically, I do think they'll make the same mistake again.
Yeah,
because they didn't learn from the first time. So why would they learn from the second? Okay, so they do have time to turn around and go grab it. Annalise and Steve are still there. So that should have given them a little bit of like, oh, well, they had to turn around and come back and we're almost done now. So we're closer to being in it than being out, I would think. Todd and Ashley get to the car park in first place. So Steve and Annalie are always getting directions though. And it seems like, do they not absorb what the directions are, or how are they always getting directions?
I don't know.
And it's not working. And they're still getting lost, is what I mean.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I think he shuts down, and she's just like, her blood's boiling, and just kind of not thinking things through. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't work. It's them as a team. To me, listen, they've made it so far. They're still in it, but it's a big hindrance to their game.
Definitely.
And it can cost them. So we'll see.
Luciana says here that Joel and Garrett are so sweet. Just wish they paid more attention to things.
Yeah, a little bit more attention, a little bit more hustle. But I mean, still, I have probably 3 or 4 teams that I prefer over them.
Yeah, unfortunately, agreed. Robin and Chelsea again lost. As soon as they're not following the brothers, they're lost. Also, Morgan and Lena are terrible navigators. They go to the wrong parking garage. I'm just like, how? How? Like, if you're using somebody on the street's GPS or Google Maps, are you putting in the wrong car park? Like, how are you going to the wrong location?
Well, she doesn't. I don't think they know where they are half the time. Like it's just again, this is the whole self-drive element to it too. Like,
I
love
know
it.
I'm saying this from my couch, but I'm just like, I just don't know if I'd go to the wrong place. I mean, okay, I had to say that when JoJo and I were in New York,
Yeah.
JoJo put in the name of a theater that we were supposed to go to, and I didn't have Wi-Fi on this particular phone, so I just took his word for it, and we walked to this particular theater. To get to the theater, only to find out that there's another theater of the same name on the same street on the other side of town.
Mm.
So I guess it can't happen.
Well, you know what? I was just talking to you before we got on about City Chase, which is this for charity, this like amazing race within the city that they used to have. And that happened to me where my partner, we had to figure out clues and we had to figure out where we needed to be. We need to get to City Hall. And she was like, I know where this is, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, great. I was new to Toronto. I
Oh,
didn't
I
know
was
where
like,
anything
City
was in
Hall
Toronto.
is just
This
like
is
pretty.
this is like mid 2000s. And so I was like, okay. And then we just went there and there was no checkpoint. There was no nothing. We're like, what? Well, City Hall's right next to Old City Hall. And it was Old City Hall that we're at. And,
Oh,
and so, but I mean, so thank God it was just next door. But yeah, I mean, you trust someone and they like, like what happened with you and JoJo, or you just take someone's word for it, or there could be very similarly named, things. Then yeah, I get it.
I mean, this one, it was the exact same. It was like SVA Theater, but and the same street, but like an hour distance apart. An hour, like hour walking distance, or maybe less, like
Mm.
45
Yeah.
minutes. So fine, I get it a little bit, but I don't know. I feel like they're just so bad with navigating that like I feel like I need to just like shake them and be like, be better. We're rooting for you. So Todd and Ashley get to the top of the stairs in first place. Greg and John are second up there. And now they're going to be going to the pit stop, which is a Dragon Bridge. And I was like, oh, poor Rob having to do more stairs. He was so upset. He was like, no, I don't want to do these stairs because they had to do with the 1100 stairs for the express pass. But they do get to the top in third place. And now they're all running to the pit stop. So again, in first place, knowing how to navigate the best, it seems, is John and Greg, and they win a trip to Nabia. Second place is Todd and Ashley. They still see them on the mat, so they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Ashley kind of was lagging behind a little bit, and Todd's like pissed at her for not keeping up with them. He's like a foot and a half taller than she is, and his legs are much longer than hers are,
Yeah.
and he's mad that she can't run as fast as him. Like, Todd, have a little bit of grace for your
Yeah.
damn wife.
No, for sure. Yeah.
A little bit. Third place is Rob and Corey, and Rob's like, no more stairs. No more stairs. Stairs suck. I don't like stairs. Fourth place is Joel and Garrett. They are able to get up to fourth.
Mm.
And I was wondering if they were faking this close race with Anna Lee and the sisters. And I was like, why are they like split screening this and that? Like, I felt like they were trying to make it seem like Anna Lee and Steve had a shot. To find out, no, like actually they were this close, and I was very surprised. So the sisters finally find the car park, and they get to the top. They're seeing Anna Lee and Steve going down the elevator, so like they're on the heels. Now, I also thought that, I think it was Greg and John that was like, is taking the elevator down considered by foot? And so they chose not to take the elevator down just in case that would cause a penalty. And then Anna Lee and Steve took the elevator down.
Yeah.
So I was actually waiting to see if there was going to be a penalty on taking the elevator. You too?
Me too. Because she was like, well, it doesn't say you can't. And I'm like, but does it? I'm like, interesting. I thought there might be I mean, and I think the sisters made the best decision because if
Waiting
you're
for the elevator to come up.
if you're behind anyway, it's going to be faster to. Well, they took the stairs, right?
Sorry, no, but waiting for the elevator to come up is
Would have
going to
been
take a lot
taking
of
long,
time.
yeah, because they were like, it's going to be faster to take the stairs. Like you're going to have to wait for that elevator, but either way, you're taking the same method, and if you're behind anyway, you're going to be behind then too. So you might as well try something different, and it may be a different result. So I do think it might have been slower the stairs, but it was really their only option. I feel like at that point.
I mean, in 200 steps or so, that's not that. That'd take like
Going down is
going
easier.
down
Yeah.
like less than 5 minutes, I think. Not even. I think it would be kind of fast. So yes, Morgan and Lena take the stairs down to the pit stop. We see Robin and Chelsea get there in 5th place. Who knew? And in 6th place, wow. It was Annalie and Steve were able to get there before Morgan and Lena, and therefore Morgan and Lena are out of the race. Wow,
Yeah.
my final 2 teams are fighting for the last place at the mat.
I was very happy it wasn't my team, but I thought like in their journey, Morgan and Lena were, because they were back and forth a bit, and then they just seemed to really be kind of getting it together more recently, and then it just kind of fell apart. It fell apart, and I do think the leg was. I mean, we'll see the start times next week, but I do think the leg was pretty tight overall for all teams. Like it
Yeah, we
just
can see
felt.
they're all like seeing each other
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
yeah.
So those are always the tough legs because you can definitely lose someone unexpected when that happens.
So, do we think that Annalie and Steve have a chance to like win?
I do because I don't want them to, and that's usually what
Yeah,
happens.
it's like you could have like all these finals four out of the 5 teams that are left,
Yeah.
and like, or no, 5 out of the 6 teams that
I
are
have I
left.
have 5 out of the 6 teams that are left, yeah, but and just even in life, I would say they're probably my least favorite, and then probably Robin and Chelsea, and then Joel and Garrett, um, and then yeah, so it's like, but I guarantee you, like it'll be like watch those 3 when I'm like really rooting for Robin, Corey, or Greg and John, or even Ashley and Todd. So yeah.
Yeah, I like those 3 teams better than the other 3 teams that you suggested. Ah, well, hopefully I'm still in it. I don't want to be out of this race yet. It's so
Oh, they're
sad.
they're they're getting at least a final 3 edit, Steven and Annalie. So I actually wouldn't expect them to go anytime soon, to be honest with you.
I mean, this could be their rock bottom episode, and then like they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, we thought that we were so bad. We've
Yeah,
had so many bad legs, and we're still in it."
yeah,
Like, and if they take away, I don't know where they're going next, but if they take away the self driving element, they might be able to excel again because we've seen that they're just not good at navigating on their own. But like,
yeah,
if they need to get a taxi and get a taxi to get there, they're able to do that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can definitely see like Robin and Chelsea, and then Joel and Garrett going like the next 2. You know what I mean?
well, anything else that happened this episode you like to chat about?
No, I think we covered it all. I mean, it was good. It was filled with a ton of stuff, and oh my, what happened in the previews for next week? I don't even remember.
I don't
Was
think it
there
showed
any?
it.
Okay, because I was like, did I miss that? I'm like, I don't know.
I remember
But
fasting forward to the commercial to see whether or not, and I didn't. They didn't
yeah,
say.
I don't remember that either, and I normally do. So who knows what's gonna happen next week?
Yeah. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. Let's see. Luciana is rooting for Greg and John and for Corey and Rob. Never thought I'd be rooting for 2 male teams.
Right?
Two.
Right? I know. It's usually like women teams for me, but yeah, right? Shocking.
Agreed. I love both of these teams. It could be a Greg and John. It could be actually any of these teams right now. I could see them winning. Not Joel and Garrett and not Robin and Chelsea, but the other 4 teams I can see winning. Greg and John, Robbie and Corey, and Todd and Ashley for the final 3. Great final 3.
That's what I would
Very
want.
competitive. And
Yeah.
I would be out of it.
And that's what I would definitely want.
I mean, I think I had good teams, but this race wasn't meant for them.
Here's the thing. I'm actually really, I mean, yes, I'm rooting Rob and Corey number 1, but I do need to see Anna leave and Steve go because I just don't like that behavior kind of rewarded. You know what I mean? It's entertaining to watch, but to be kind of that with each other and stuff. I just don't like having that rewarded and having them in the final 3 or even
Well,
winning
what happens if they rectify, like
and
she
like redeem
apologized
it.
and they started to like work on their relationships and maybe say like, sorry that I was snippy with you. Some growth.
Yeah, I mean, right, but I still think for me personally, I think it's too late to enjoy them, but for their sake, I hope they have some.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you, Jonathan, for being here. Do you have anything to share with the people? What do you have going on?
No, I mean, listen, the SAG-AFTRA strike is over now, and the writer's strike was over before that, so things are picking up, and we'll be getting a lot more um, scripted television as well. And listen, even some, reality TV has writers. So um yeah, so things are just picking up. But I'm loving The Amazing Race and all the reality TV that we have right now. And I'm so excited that, even when that's over, I only have a couple short months and then I get to see it all again in February and March. So yeah.
I agree. Yay. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, chat. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like this video. Let us know your order. Who do you want to be out of it next week? And who do you want to potentially win? So I'd love to hear your different orders as to how you want to see this game end out. I think a lot of people are going to be saying Rob and Corey, though. They seem like to be the
Yeah.
front runners, the favorites. The favorites for sure. Thank
So
you. Thank you.
said they're so sweet though, the two of
They're
them.
really
Right?
sweet. No problem. Oh, I know. When am I recapping the challenge? I was going to do it later, but I've just been talking too much today. We'll see. Maybe later, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.
Bye.